Our next guest has taken on one great role after the next, starring in TV shows such as The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Chuck, Heroes Reborn, and on the big screen, he's appeared in American Underdog as Kurt Warner in Thor Ragnarok, the animated hit Tangled, and yes, Shazam.
Gentlemen!
You have bullet immunity!
I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
Sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero. I know that knows anything about this cake crusader.
You know what, though? Playing a superhero has not shielded him from a lifetime of trauma, and he's now sharing his experiences in his new book, Radical Love, Learning to Accept Yourself and Others. Please welcome actor and author Zachary Levi. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Zachary.
Absolutely. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You know what? And you've got a really important message, right? So here you are. You're this super successful working actor. You've got this great sense of humor. You look amazing. You've got a big smile on your face. You've got all of these credits to your name: Shazam, American Underdog, Chuck. So everybody, of course, believes that you have everything going for you, right? But a lot of times we hold a lot inside that is much deeper and sometimes darker. You say that you have battled anxiety, depression, even contemplated suicide. How tough is it to be, in one hand, somebody in the public eye, and then struggling so difficultly with mental health issues on the inside? And that's a very solo struggle.
Yeah, well, it's very difficult. I don't know that it's any more difficult than anyone else who's struggling with depression on very, very deep levels, contemplating whether or not they want to live, whether you are someone who's in the public eye and having such incredible blessings as I've had, or whether you're somebody who's just working a 9-to-5, depression is depression. I will say that there is a little bit of an added kind of level of pressure, perhaps, in that it's not lost on you. You know, when I was going through, and by the way, this is still a journey I'm on. Only 5 years ago did I realize how little I understood about my own mental health. I was basically illiterate when it came to my own mental health and journey. And so I'm still an infant as I quest through all of these things and learning how to love myself really for the first time, which was one of the biggest lessons I took from this incredible therapy that I went through. But you know, these are things, it was not lost on me just how blessed I was, and yet I felt like I didn't want to live. And that made me feel even worse, because you go, how, why? I hated myself, and then I hated myself more for hating myself when I shouldn't, because look at all of these, you know, immense blessings and gifts that I had been given. So there is an added layer.
It really can be such a spiral with that you're not recognizing the richness of your life, all of the blessings, and that we should be so grateful. But oftentimes we do pack it down inside. We don't want to look at it, because once you kind of open that door, then you don't even know how dark it's going to get. And you didn't set out to write a book about this, but what ultimately propelled you to share something that some people find to be very intimate?
Yeah, well, look, ultimately, I was still finishing up this. I had a breakdown at 37. I went to this 3 weeks of very intensive life-saving therapy. And while I was still finishing that program, I booked Shazam. And it was a whirlwind. It was, I knew that I had only booked the role because I was actually doing the work. I was doing the more important work in my life, which was to go and figure out how to actually care for myself and love myself for the first time. And so when I was promoting Shazam, I felt very compelled to tell the world, hey, I only got to be this really cool superhero because I first went and did this very important work to value my life. And I think that was the fruit that came out of it. And so in doing so, I went on a few podcasts, and HarperCollins listened to those podcasts and said, hey, we think there's a book here.
Yeah,
and we
you
think that if
definitely
you told
got
this
something
story,
there. And
yeah, you
so,
can help some people with it.
It's so interesting to go through the chapter titles of your book: Stop Running, Get Help, Be Open. This is almost like a to-do list, or a step-by-step on that. And you talked about in your book how taking care of your mind should be like taking care of your teeth, right? It should be the same thing. You just be, you know, brush and floss our minds to root out the lies. That's just a very straightforward way to make this accessible for people.
Yeah, I really do. I don't remember when exactly it dawned on me, this kind of epiphany that mental health is dental health. I mean, it really is the same. We all have little mental, emotional cavities that pop up, and we can easily take care. Oh, by the way, we can prevent ourselves from even getting these cavities if we brush and floss like we do our own teeth every day. It is an everyday thing. But if you do not tend to your teeth, if you do not get them cleaned, once a year, or however often, I can't remember, once a year, twice a year. If you do all those things, those preventative measures, you don't end up with needing a root canal. But if you don't do those preventative measures, you end up in a situation like I ended up in, where I didn't want to live anymore. I had full-blown mental, emotional root canals that needed some real massive work to be done. And I'm trying to encourage myself and other people to tend to the garden of their mind, to tend to the brushing and flossing, the daily routines, whether it's prayer, meditation, working out, eating right, speaking to a therapist. That's first and foremost. People ask me, what are the actionable items here? I would say everyone in the world needs to go to therapy. Everyone. I don't care how together you think you are. You can still use
just like
a licensed professional
to go to the dentist. Zachary
exactly.
Levi. I cannot let you go before you give us one quick little nugget in just a couple of seconds. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Tell me something, please.
Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are the bad guys, and they're so good, and I'm so stoked that they thought it would be cool to come and do a movie with us. The whole rest of the cast is back.
Super cool. I can't wait to see you on the screen with her. Zachary Levi, thank you for sharing the inside of you so that all of us can benefit from it. Radical Love comes out this Tuesday, June 28th. Blessings to you. Continued good health.
Blessings to you, too. Have a great day.
Thanks.